Face reality, people. Movies are dead. Games are dead. Narrative? Dead.
Media is nothing but neural trigger response and viral conditioning.
Wait, what are you two talking about?
All right, so we got another video request. It's a sports one. Basketball, actually basketball, let's just say NBA in particular. And the name of the video is Using Numbers to Find the Greatest Individual Season in NBA History. And the channel is JxmyHighroller. Very clean-cut dude. Which is usually boring for me, but like, I get it. It is what it is. Here we go. Tell us, Jimmy, what are we watching this video for?
If I asked you throughout NBA history...
Oh, don't be shy to ask for requests in the chat. Or in the comments. All right, here we go.
Who had the best individual season and what year did it take place? What would your answer be? Can a season truly be great if a player doesn't lead their team to a championship? What about empty stats or years where players put together incredible seasons but didn't walk away with the MVP? Just like many other fans of the game, I've always wondered who truly had the greatest season in NBA history. If we were to somehow add up all the things that a player did throughout a season, their impact and value, and condense all of it into one number, some sort of value or greatness score, then we could determine who had the best season of all time. And so that's what I did.
So, real quick, anyone have any guesses? Maybe not who he would have, but like who do you think had the best season ever? If you can think of it off the top of your head.
Be a long time ago.
Be a long time. Probably Will Chamberlain.
Will Chamberlain, right?
50 points, 30 rebounds, 18 blocks per game. It's like, what?
Was it 93 Jordan?
And yeah, good point. Yeah, what was it? 06 Kobe? Was it 06?
Yeah, it was Kobe.
With the 30 fucking...
99 Shaq.
99 Shaq. Harden had that 36 points per game season. I'm only thinking my point. I think he's asked about all of it, like winning included. So that'd almost take Will.
It would be Jordan, Shaq, Kobe. No, Kobe didn't win in 05, 6, 05.
He might have dropped a hint though that he may not necessarily have won the championship. Like he mentioned, does he need to?
But you would want to include that though, right?
For me, that has to be included.
Yeah.
Your stats have to lead to winning. Otherwise, Ricky Davis is one of the best two guards. Had one of the best two guard seasons ever. While he's like shooting the basketball at his own rim to get rebounds for a triple double, bro. Do you remember that? Do you remember that shit?
Nah, I didn't know that shit.
It was the end of the game. Like the game's about to end. The buzzer's about to run out, and he went to the opposing team's basket. Hit the ball off the rim and caught it to get a triple double. This fucking gangster. He got in trouble. Like everyone was mad at him for it, and I think he got in trouble for it. He might have got fined, but like he got the triple double though, right?
Yeah,
he won.
Crazy.
He won. So yeah. Winning for me, winning's got to be a part of it. Otherwise, like, what are we talking about? But all right, here we go. It'd have to be God tier individual season to. Even then, I still got to go with the winners, man. All right, here we go.
A formula to decide who had the best individual season in NBA history. And not only did I find that season, but it was so great that no other season comes.
Yeah, we forgot about fucking Westbrook too. There's triple doubles.
Today's video is brought to you by SeatGeek. A new NBA season is upon us. Just look at it.
Get your fucking ads out of here. Holy fuck. See, sponsored by SeatGeek. That means you're official. I just skipped this. Dude, show me the chapters. Whatever, I'll just click here. All right, here we go.
With the 2023 NBA season going completely off the rails with big games, huge numbers, and record-breaking performances every other night, I had to gather myself and put all of this madness into context. How historic are these seasons really? Where do the individual performances of this season rank among the greatest season performances in NBA history? Well,
If we're going to count winning, we need to count the eras they play in and how easy or difficult, oh shit, my bad. If we're going to count winning as like a thing, if I am, then I'm going to have to take eras you played in and, let's be honest, the type of rules and defenses and shit that you're looking at. Because like people say like, oh, MJ would score 40 something points per game in this league today. So it's like, oh, okay, so stats might be inflated. But, I'm just saying. Here we go.
in order to answer this question, I had to create a basic formula that factors in everything a player does on an individual level throughout a season. But first, I had to determine what numbers and awards actually matter and which ones don't. For example, winning the MVP is the greatest individual award a player can win, but there have been countless amazing seasons in which players did not win the award. So we can't use this as a metric to measure how great an individual season really was.
True.
I also had to exclude statistics that were heavily skewed by team performance, like win totals or even stats like offensive and defensive rating. We are, after all, looking for the best individual season. So after much deliberation, I narrowed down the criteria for the best season
Winning is a
ever
part of
to
that.
these 9 factors. Points, rebounds, and assists. If a player was selected to an all-defensive team, if a player won Defensive Player of the Year, if they led the league in one of the 3 major statistics, player efficiency rating, win shares, box plus minus, value over replacement, and just to spice things up, All-Star Game MVP. The total number...
Wait. You're not going to count the MVP, which is a, reporters and journalists award, right? They give it away. They vote on it, right? But the same thing applies to Defensive Player of the Year, right? And all defensive team, and obviously All-Star, right?
Yeah.
So why are we adding those, but not the MVP itself? Whatever. I'll let them roll with it. Let's see what happens.
Number that a player achieves from these 9 metrics is their season score. The higher the score, the greater the season. And before we get started, I want to point out a few things. As I stated before, I did not factor in MVPs in this experiment.
I need
because there's
JxmyHighroller to tell me that he understands these statistics before he starts using the fucking PERs and win shares and all that shit.
But Magic Johnson won the MVP. Another thing to keep in mind here is that most statistics that are available today have only been around since 1975. So any great season that took place in the early 70s and 60s was excluded from this experiment, which actually shouldn't even be a problem since a lot of NBA fans act like those seasons never even happened anyways. Another major factor that I left out was postseason success. And I know this will be a controversial decision, but in order to even make it deep into the playoffs, a great player still needs a solid supporting cast, or else he has no real shot to win it all. An obvious example of this is Nikola Jokic last season with the Nuggets. One of the best individual seasons of all time, just to be knocked out of the first round of the playoffs in a gentleman's sweep. Despite what a player did or did not accomplish throughout a season, we are looking for the best season from a player who had the biggest impact on the court game after game. And after spending countless, mind-numbing, mind-brain-inducing hours searching through hundreds of seasons from...
Is it Jordan again? I mean, if we're going by stats, maybe Jordan.
Maybe. We'll see. I'll let him run with it. Let's see.
Any and every player who even had a shot at putting together an all-time year, I have found the single greatest individual season in NBA history. And it's a season that was so good, no other season by any other player comes even close. But I want to give some perspective on these season scores and what a good season looks like, what a great season looks like, and what an all-time season looks like. Back in 2018, LeBron James finished second in MVP voting and had one of the most complete all-around seasons of his career. In hindsight, some fans even believe he should have won the MVP that season. And according to our metric, that year LeBron James had a season score of 109.7. This is a great season by any standard, nearly an all-time season. But James Harden rightfully took home the MVP with a season score of 112.4. In 2015, Steph Curry won his first league MVP and put together one of the most memorable seasons in recent NBA history. That year, his season score was 97.3. In 2006, Kobe Bryant had statistically the best season of his career and achieved a season score of 119.1. And yet, Steve Nash won the MVP that season with a season score of just 84.1. But these numbers are all relative. A season score of
Kobe was
20
fucking
is
robbed,
about
let's
league
be honest.
average. A score of about 45 is what you would find
And
in
his
a
Suns were
quality
winning
starter.
games.
A season score
Give
of
him
about
some credit.
65 is an all-star level season, and a season score of 85 is an all-NBA level season. And once a player gets into the triple digits, a season score of 100 or more, they are well on pace to earning an MVP. But even a score of 100 is nowhere near what a player must accomplish to even crack a top 50 season of all time. Because the 50th greatest individual season came from James Harden in 2018 when he piled up a season score of 112.4. In fact, here's a chart of the top 50 individual seasons in NBA history according to our season score metric. The first 3 seasons to crack the top 50 all came from James Harden in just a 4-year span between 2017 and 2020. Michael Jordan was so good, so early in his career, that even his rookie season made the list as the 42nd best individual season of all time. Tracy McGrady put together his best season in 2003 with a season score of 115.3. Hakeem's 1994 campaign lands at the 35th spot of all time, and just above him you'll find Steph's unanimous MVP season in 2016. Nikola Jokic achieved a career-high season score last season with a total of 120.3 points, the 23rd best individual season of all time. But Giannis actually scored just slightly higher than Jokic did last season with a season score of 120.9. Russell Westbrook's MVP year is the 17th best individual season of all time and easily the best season of his career. Keep going up and we'll find the best seasons from some of the greatest players of all time. Dwayne Wade in 2009, KG in 2004, Kareem in 76. In 2020, Giannis put together one of the greatest seasons ever with a season score of 129.8, just behind LeBron's 2009 season, which turns out to be the best individual season of his career where he earned a season score of 130.2. And after this mark, we enter the Michael Jordan zone, where it's a whole lot of MJ reeling off some of the best individual seasons of all time, year after year. And right at the top are the 3 best individual seasons of all time. David Robinson's criminally underrated 1994 season, Shaq's masterpiece in the 2000 NBA season, and Michael Jordan's 1989 season that earned him a season score of 137.7.
I guess he's going MJ.
There's one season missing here.
Will Chamberlain.
Oh, there it is. Michael
This is
Jordan's
MJ.
1988 regular season, widely regarded as the greatest of all time. And that's because it is. With a season score of 154.8, Jordan's 1988 campaign is the greatest individual season in NBA history. And it's not even remotely close. But I want to take a deeper look at these results.
He needs to examine
because
this
they
shit.
reveal some interesting things
I'm
about
curious.
what we know and what we thought we knew. Some all-time legends that didn't even have a single season that made the top 50 list include Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Tim Duncan, Charles Barkley, Dirk Nowitzki, and many more. On the other hand, there have been a handful of players that have had multiple...
He said he's not counting Will Chamberlain's era, right? I got all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why I figured, because it's like 50 points. You think he averaged in a season? It's like freaking no. All right.
seasons that cracked the top 50. These players include Michael Jordan with 11 top 50 seasons of all time, LeBron James with 5, James Harden, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and David Robinson with 4 apiece, Kareem and Garnett with 3, and Hakeem, Kobe, Jokic, Shaq, and Chris Paul, all with 2 top 50 seasons each. But the most interesting thing that these numbers reveal is that the second best individual season in NBA history didn't even earn an MVP. Michael Jordan's 1989 season ranks second all-time among season scores, and somehow he still finished second in MVP voting that season behind Magic Johnson, who earned a
But you're
season
using your
score of
rubric, so-
103.9. Still a great score, but nowhere near the season Michael had. And if you take a look at their numbers throughout that season, it's clear that a robbery took place here. Same thing happened in 1990 when Michael Jordan put up the 5th highest season score in NBA history and finished not second, but 3rd in MVP voting behind Magic Johnson and Charles Barkley. And again, the numbers are clear as day. This MVP should have gone to Michael, and it's not even close. Now, the idea that Michael Jordan and LeBron James should have probably won more MVPs throughout their careers becomes even more glaring through the lens of this season score metric. But of all the seasons that made an appearance on this list, only the 2009 season features 3 players who all put up top 50 seasons of all time. That year, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Paul all not only had historically great seasons, all 3 of them put up top 25 seasons in NBA history.
It's unfortunate people don't recognize how fucking awesome Chris Paul was in his prime and shit, bro. I think he gets absolutely looked past. I think it's a crime. I think he's for me one of the best point guards as far as just playing the game of basketball I've ever fucking seen. Like straight up, like he is the definition of true point guard, but he can also score the shit out of basketball if he has to. Like, I think he's better than Stockton. Like, people are gonna get mad at me if I said skill wise, Chris Paul is better than Magic Johnson. People will freak the fuck out, but he is.
No, he's very good.
Can't win like him, but he can. He's like. Go watch Chris Paul in his prime fucking play. You're telling me a guy who can fucking see the entire court. He's only 6'2", by the way. He can handle the fucking basketball. He doesn't turn the ball over as a guy who handles the basketball like that. He can score. Like, come on, man. He's usually near the top of the league in steals, right? Like, he was a defensive player in his prime, right? Like, he was making all defensive teams, I believe. So it just didn't win. Like, if he won, people would be like, "Oh my God, Chris Paul!" But he didn't win. So, and he took some sketchy teams to some far places. I remember when they played like the Lakers or some shit, and it's just him and Tyson Chandler just pick and rolling all fucking day.
Yeah, I remember that shit. And Kobe dunked on that dude, the center.
Yeah.
That shit was
All right, here we go.
Spoke about before, in most seasons, a game score of 100 will give a player a real shot at winning the league MVP. CP3, D Wade, and LeBron all had season scores of over 120. But with this NBA season being flooded with all-time talent and incredible performances every single night, are there any players that are putting together seasons this year that would crack this all-time list? We'll have to make a couple estimations here because some stats within our metric like VORP and win shares are cumulative stats. But at their current pace, here are the projected season scores for the best players in the NBA this season, with the top 5 season scores coming from Luka, Jokic, Giannis, Embiid, and Tatum. And if a season score of 100 warrants a real shot at the MVP award, then there are currently six
this is 2002, 22, 23.
MVP caliber season.
How the fuck is
But in
LeBron
terms of
over
cracking
AD?
The top 50 list, only Luka Doncic and Nikola Jokic are on pace to making the cut. In fact, Luka is on pace to racking up a season score of 123.1, which would earn him the 15th best individual season of all time, right behind LeBron's 2013 season. And Nikola Jokic is on pace to having a season score of 116.4, which would land him at the 38th spot all time. And after gathering data from hundreds of seasons of dozens of players, I got to thinking about peaks. Who was the best when they were at their best? Some players have maybe 1 or 2 seasons that stand far above any other year they've put together, like Tracy McGrady in 2003 or Russell Westbrook in 2017, while other players completely
fucking remember
control the
that
game
T-Mac,
on an
bro.
individual level season after season. So here is a chart of NBA legends and the combined season scores of the best 5-year stretch of their career. For example, Isaiah Thomas's best 5-year stretch came between 1984 and 1988, where his total season scores throughout those years was 379.3. Damian Lillard's run from 2017 to 2021 earned him a total of 438.9. Just above Magic Johnson and Moses Malone is Karl Malone, who is the first player on this chart to crack 500. Nikola Jokic is currently in his best 5-year stretch and has a total score of 508.8. But this number will jump much higher after this season, somewhere around the 540 range. Kobe, Hakeem, and Bird all had similarly great primes in the NBA, ranging from 514 to 518. Tim Duncan is sandwiched right between Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant. Our first big jump occurs with James Harden's run between 2016 and 2020. And after these marks, we get into the very best individual runs in NBA history. Shaq in the early 2000s, a young Kareem, a mind-boggling 5-year individual stretch from David Robinson in the mid-90s, Giannis's current historic run dating back to 2018, and LeBron James at his absolute peak from 2008 to 2012. Just 5 points shy of cracking the 600 mark. Possibly the greatest individual prime of all time. Well,
He's going to jump scared MJ again.
if Michael Jordan didn't exist. Because from 1988 to 1992, MJ rattled off 5 of the top 16 individual seasons of all time. By far, the greatest stretch of seasons we've ever seen from any player, earning him a prime total score of 680.9.
Oh my God.
Leaving him in a league of his own, even amongst the greatest players in NBA history. Hope you all enjoyed. And as always,
Oh my God.
until next time.
I called it. As soon as he said stats. And I don't even think the stats are fair because it like he's saying, well, what about these 2022 stats, right? Well,
Yeah.
they weren't playing against Jordan. So like that would impact their numbers too, right? Like who are you playing against? You know, like it's not the same exact thing.
True. Well, yeah, true. It's always because these guys all play in different eras, so yeah, that's always going to
Yeah.
be there as part of the argument. But I mean, well, for me, I don't really go by stats. I use the eye to obviously stats play a role. They're just like further evidence for you, but more of like watching the guy play and obviously winning and his impact on winning is super important to me. Well, I mean, I already had Jordan as the best player ever. Just on like to me, winning's so important. But there does need to be like a balance. Like in baseball, like you can't just give Derek Jeter the best player ever mantle, even though he won all the fucking time, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, I'd probably go to like Barry, but like, granted, it's the cheating thing. But that 1 year Bonds is just so fucking stupid. Like the numbers he put up were ridiculous. It was like, this is make believe, bro. It's the true definition of video game stats. Is what Barry Bonds did, bro. But winning does go a long way. Like if Michael didn't win two three-peats, man, I don't think people would consider him up there like that. They'd be like,
Yeah.
oh wow, what a really good player, but not the best. See, this guy's the best because he won more. Maybe be Kobe with fucking a three-peat and a back-to-back, or Kareem or something, or Magic. So it's just like MJ is just the perfect storm of everything, like straight up, of winning, of individual statistics, of style, of skill, like all the marketing, every single element that involves the game of basketball, MJ has going for him. It's just like there's nothing you could do, and then this video is just more evidence of that. That the guy's the best ever. He might be the best individual player in any sport, like of all time. Anyone else consider that MJ?
Yeah.
Like,
Because of LeBron's cheating, yeah.
well, it's like LeBron. Like they can do all this shit in real time now about trying to make an argument for LeBron James, but once he retires, that shit's gonna go away. That's my guess. It'll be over at that point. Unless he goes around campaigning, like going school to school, like, hey, young kids, here's my highlight reel, check this out. Unless he does some shit like that, to where people are like, fuck, we gotta come out of the woodworks and destroy this motherfucker for doing this. Unless something like that happens, it's over. Because there's no, like, they won't, like, will they be talking about LeBron James once he retires like that? Or will they be scrambling to find the next star to focus on? Right? So, I don't know. Like, LeBron, it's too late for LeBron. It's over. Because even if he won 2 more titles, everything else still has some sort of asterisk next to it. They do. All the other titles have asterisks next to them. Straight up. Because, what? You have the bubble title. You have the 2 different super team bubble asterisks. So, It's like he's fucked. People view MJ as the guy who like did it all. He's the main reason, the main part. When it comes to big shots, he's the guy that hits it, or as a decoy, he hits Steve Kerr or John Paxson with the right pass, and they hit the shot. But it's mostly MJ that's creating all of this. LeBron does not get that. People don't look at LeBron that way. It is what it is. I'm sorry for turning this into a GOAT argument, but I think it fits a little bit. But yeah, statistics. I guess based on JxmyHighroller and the way he set the statistics, MJ has by far had the best season and the best prime, the best stretch of seasons ever by a lot. Like over everyone by a lot. I'm not surprised by that. Anyone else with something to say? Please go ahead. Anyone?
Dennis Rodman carried Michael Jordan.
Yeah, it was Dennis and Scotty that carried him to his 6 titles, man. It's fucking amazing, man. It's that thing where like shit just works out, like, but he had everything else going for him too. Like, it's like Tom Brady's might be like the closest thing, or Tiger Woods or something like that. But something always fails. Like at some moment, there's some sense of failure or something, right? And they get like a scuff mark on them to where they can't stand out over Michael Jordan, where it was a straight up for like damn near the whole 90s. Whenever he plays, they win straight up. They win the title, and he has beast stats, and he wins the MVP of the fucking finals. Like Derek Jeter has like a magical thing about him where like his 3,000th hit was a fucking home run. Like of course it was, because it's Derek Jeter, and he's gonna have some magical fucking life thing happen for him. And obviously it's skill. I'm not saying it's like luck. I'm saying like they just happen to rise to certain occasions over and over and over again. But Derek Jeter didn't put up monster fucking stats. He put up some really good all-time great, seasons for a shortstop. But was he like the man of the man, like the best of the best, of fucking 50 home runs while hitting 340 and 170 RBIs? Like that's what MJ equates to. But for like 8 years though, like for 8 years of doing that or some shit, or more than 8 years probably. That's fucking crazy. Yeah. Interesting video, but not surprised. And honestly, I would hope, as far as my rubric, I would hope people follow more of this and they follow statistics. Right? Jimmy needs to make videos, so JxmyHighroller is going to do a bunch of statistic videos and shit like that. Some fucking stats we've never heard of. But I would hope that a basketball fan will use their fucking eyes and their logic and the idea of winning. And the winning and the logic go together. Because, like, damn, you guys keep winning titles. Okay, how are you winning titles? Oh, this guy's, like, the main focus of the offense. And he plays hard on defense. And he's not just plays hard on defense. He's, like, elite at defense as well. So it's like, and they're one of the best defensive teams. Like all these little things of the formula all come together and point to MJ over and over and over again. And I would hope people will look more at that than just the statistical shit. Although it lends some credence, right? Stats are important. I would just rather like make sure you see what he's doing. Like watch and see what the guy's doing, because like you said, Wilt Chamberlain, like how much skill was he showcasing while he's just dunking on, these smaller dudes and scoring 50 fucking points a game? Like, you gotta use your eyes and your mind. Look at the artistry. That's why this fucking playlist I do with the sports shit is called Sports is an Art, because it is an art. And I don't need fucking Stallone action movies over and over and over again. I want to see some finesse, some skill, some artistic value. All right, that was JxmyHighroller using numbers to find the greatest individual season in NBA history. No surprise. Michael Jordan.